become pretty clear over the past few years that there's a lot of great games that I still haven't played, and it seems that it's these games that keep popping out all the great sequels. With the release of The Witcher 2 coming up in a few weeks, I wanted to make sure that I could remove its predecessor from my list of unplayed games. So over the past few weeks I've been playing through it as I weaved in reviews for current releases. While I'm not going to give a full review here, I would like to discuss The Witcher and discuss some of the changes we're going to see in The Witcher 2.
His name was Geralt of Rivia. He was a witcher, a professional monster slayer. An unusual contract to lift the curse that held a monarch's daughter. It was enough to spend the night with the princess, dusk till dawn. If only she were not a deadly beast, a striga.
Released in 2007 on the PC, The Witcher brought us a dark, raunchy, epic tale of monster slayer for hire Geralt of Rivia. An enhanced edition of the game was re-released the following year that added over 200 new animations, new NPC models, a refined inventory system, and better graphics with improved performance. The entire package may be picked up on Steam now for only $20, and those that own the original game may download the enhanced edition for free. The game opens by showing us an amazing cutscene of Geralt saving a princess who's been cursed and transformed into a terrible beast who's been ravaging the townspeople. The story then skips forward 5 years where we find that Geralt has been slain and brought back to life, but is missing his memory of his entire past. He's brought to a castle where other Witchers train, only to be caught up in a series of events that leads to the death of a friend and the theft of the mutagens used to give the Witchers their power. The remainder of the game is spent tracking down these thieves and murderers to seek revenge and reclaim your stolen property. The game's prologue, 5 chapters, and epilogue took me roughly 38 hours to complete, which included completion of a majority of the side quests. What I appreciated with the side quests is that most of them actually have to do with the main plot, which is something you don't often see in CRPGs. While a lot is covered throughout Geralt's adventures, the game's ending still leaves many questions unanswered, and the final cinematic paves the path toward what should be an equally epic story in The Witcher 2. The developers designed the decision-making in the story to be time-delayed, as the choices you make typically won't have an effect on the story until well down the road. This prevents you from simply reloading a game if you don't like the instant outcomes. What's neat is that the nature of the morality and the choices you'll be forced to make never fall into black or white decisions. You are often presented with a situation that you have to decide the outcome based on your personal beliefs and choose what you define as the lesser of two evils. This is probably the most adult-oriented game I've ever played. The dialogue hits home, touching on racism, hate crimes, and filthy banter that could rival that of Bulletstorm. And Geralt must carry with him a giant bottle of pimp juice because he seems to be able to have sex with just about every woman or woman-like creature he stumbles across. The Witcher is a classic CRPG. The game world is semi-sandbox in that certain areas are accessible to you based on which chapter you're in, and you can complete quests in any order you choose. There is a ton of exploration that may be done, but with that, there will be a ton of running back and forth through different zones to complete your quests. Much of your quest work involves investigations and detective work, as you'll inherently be sucked into choosing sides between the game's various political factions. Combat in the game is very simple and doesn't get much more complex as you advance. Geralt has a steel sword that's good for killing humans and a silver sword that's good for killing monsters. He's able to wield other weapons as well, but really, swords are powerful enough to tackle every foe you encounter. While wielding the swords, you can choose a slow, fast, or group combat style, as different tactics are required to take down the various foes. Melee combat essentially acts as a mini-game, where you have to time your clicks to achieve combos. To spice things up, you're presented with 5 spells to weave into your battles, but really I found that spamming the fire spell pretty much trivialized the encounters to the point where I seldom had to use my swords at all. Overall, I found the combat to be the weakest aspect of the game. While the animations look great, I didn't really enjoy how easy it was to spam powerful spells, and I didn't care for the timed click nature of the melee combat. I've read that this is being revamped in The Witcher 2, where the spells merely supplement the melee-focused nature of The Witcher, and hopefully the timed click mechanics will be removed. It wouldn't be a CRPG without some serious inventory management. Managing your items is very important so that you can sell the best gear to the proper vendors and still have enough room to carry the battle-altering potions. Something that bothered me though was that it's difficult to decide which weapons you should pick up from battle or purchase to replace your current gear. You can't compare the stats of your current item to the one on the ground, so you must first drop your weapon, then pick up the new one and try to remember which one's better. A dynamic weather system and day-night cycle is built in, as certain events can only be completed during certain time cycles. Geralt may also build a campfire and meditate to quickly pass time, or he can spend that time distributing points into talent trees that he's earned from leveling up, and more importantly, using his alchemy skills to brew up powerful potions. These are used to increase health or mana regeneration, see in the darkness, or various other effects, but each time you drink one, your toxicity level increases, which can cause negative effects. I enjoyed this risk versus reward aspect of the gameplay. I've read that this is being stepped up in the sequel, in that each potion has a positive and negative effect. For instance, you'll be able to see in the darkness, but until the potion wears off, you won't be able to see during the daytime. Overall, this is a very dark game. Not until the mid-game do you actually see some decent sunlight over the beautiful vistas. The majority of your time will be spent in dark caves, poorly lit nighttime environments, or under a thick overcast. While the graphics are now 5 years old, I think they still look pretty damn good, and the visuals we've seen in The Witcher 2 are certainly mind-blowing. Something that bothered me though was the transition between dialogue and regular gameplay. The transitions were really harsh, and to me could have used some serious crossfades. There's also a ton of reused character models, even from the key plot characters, which really retracts from your immersion. The voice acting of the characters for the most part is pretty terrible and emotionless as well, but the soundtrack that accompanies your adventure from start to finish is absolutely amazing.
Geralt! Melatelli must have sent you. There's a woman outside. The dogs will tear her apart. Help her! Help! No!
Don't open the gate! The beasts will enter! These dogs are deadly.
Don't get me wrong, I actually had a great time playing through The Witcher. The story was very interesting, and the gray area nature of the decision making was wonderful. The combat was alright, but it didn't live up to its full potential due to the trivializing overpowered spells and time-click melee fights. Regardless, for $20 on Steam, you've got a great package to pick up here if you're into computer role-playing games. If the developers improve on the things I didn't care for in this game, we're certain to have a AAA blockbuster on our hands with the sequel. If you're interested in supporting the show, check out my sponsor Netflix at netflix.com/ZGR for a free trial membership in the US and Canada. Check out the full write-up and screenshots over at ZeitgeistGameReview.com. Stay up to date by following me on Twitter and Facebook, and make sure to check out all of the other great gaming entertainment on the Game Station. Don't forget to subscribe and press the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching.